You are always stronger than you think you are. So, last month I was at a Genius Network meeting, and I got to see up close and personal as Joe Polish interviewed Kimberly Shannon Murphy about her book, Glimmer. It's one of the most powerful conversations I've ever heard, right? Her book's an autobiography about Kimberly, who's a stunt woman, among other things, now in Hollywood, rehashing the pain and abuse she endured as a child, and really pain her whole family endured because of her grandfather, who is not a good human, to say the least. Whatever you're imagining in your mind, it's worse than that, right? I'll leave it there. And I watched for about an hour as she delved into the pain and how it bled into, so much of her adult life. It was a suffering she spent seemingly her entire youth trying to escape, trying to free herself from. Again, front row, you can see the emotion in her face, her eyes as she's reliving it. As a spectator, it was truly inspirational. Which brought me to this thought. What are the odds? What are the odds after everything she's endured? Everything. That she was not devoured by the monster that is her past. Or even worse, a continuation of it. She instead found it within herself to be the antithesis of that evil. To say never again. No, not in my life. Not in my world, not for my family, not for my daughter. And once my mind went there, it was really all I could think, right? That this person, only a few feet away from me, found the courage to not only rise above her pain, but to turn it into something beautiful. And I'm assuming there are a million different takeaways from her story, right? And I'm sure those who are victims themselves of childhood abuse, will receive it in an even more powerful light, right? But for me, the message was a giant spotlight turned towards the internal. A reminder of just how strong we are and the power we have over the hand that we're dealt, even when life feels helpless, hopeless, and pointless. That reminder that we always have fight in us. I've been in situations where I've looked in the mirror and asked the question, what the hell do I do next? When you feel like you're suffocating. And sometimes it's simply the stories of others that remind us when we are drowning in darkness, that it may just be that we are the light, that somewhere deep down in the depths of our soul, there exists a glimmer of hope. Just enough momentum to get you through one day, onto another, until you rise from the ashes and find yourself recreated, remade. One of my favorite ideas is that the wake of the boat does not drive the boat. The wake is gone. It's history. Right? Where you go next comes down to whoever's holding the wheel, and you might hear that anecdote and think, okay, surface level, I get it, but easier said than done. I can point in my life to so many times that just the understanding, just the realization that I'm not tied to yesterday, that I can break free of what was, that I'm not defined by it, that exact realization encouraged me and pushed me to step out and find an evolved version of myself. Sometimes just understanding that a different reality exists is enough. And so, after being lucky enough to hear Kimberly's message, that's the idea that I want to pass on to you. You are not tied to what was. You're strong enough to not only discontinue the patterns and the narratives of yesterday, but to grow beyond their shadow and gift the world their inverse, their opposite. Not only can you find the solution, you can become the solution. When you look to your left and you look to your right and you think, impossible, this is too much, it's too big, all of this is just beyond me, I need you to remember, everything you need, you have. Remember that inside you right now, even though you won't be able to see the whole picture or how every single piece fits together, that in this moment exists enough light to chart your course. Even, as Kimberly would say, if it's just a glimmer.